Namaste students, welcome back to this video series. This is your instructor Dhruvi Bhatt, and today we would be talking about the most prominently talked economic problem in our country, which is nothing but poverty. What is poverty? How can we eradicate it? That would be our today's agenda. First things first, let us try to understand what is meant by poverty. A state or condition in which a person or a community lacks the financial resources and essentials to enjoy a minimum standard of life and well-being that is considered acceptable by the society is known as poverty. Students, a great deal of population of India is suffering from poverty. What exactly are the problems they are facing? Why are they facing this problem, and how can we as individuals make sure that this unequal distribution of income gets to be distributed equally? How can this poverty be eradicated to make sure that from being a developing country, we too get counted as a developed nation? There are many economic problems, but poverty being the most gloomy one, we need to eradicate it at the soonest possible. Let us first understand what are different types of poverty. There are basically two types of poverty: absolute poverty and relative poverty. What each of these mean? First, we would talk about absolute poverty. Absolute poverty refers to a condition where a person does not have the minimum amount of income needed to meet the minimum requirements for one or more basic living needs over an extended period of time, including what are these basic needs which are not fulfilled. If these basic necessities of life are not fulfilled, you are termed to be absolutely poor. What are these needs? First and foremost, of course, food. Basically speaking, in terms of our Bollywood language, those who lack roti, kapda, makan are absolutely poor. But apart from that, essentials and how these essentials are said to be in lack would be defined here. Our first problem is lack of food. The people whose body mass index is less than 17 are considered to be absolutely poor. Similarly, what is lack of safe drinking water? If people use the surface water for drinking, that is the water of river or streams, or they have to travel more than 30 minutes to fetch water, then it is said that there is lack of safe drinking water. Lack of sanitation facilities and lack of money to maintain your health is also a problem. Lack of shelter. If more than 4 kids are living in a single room or more than 3 adults are sharing the same room, then it is considered as lack of shelter. Of course, people sleeping on roads at night is also considered lack of shelter. You might be sitting in your very cozy background while listening to this lecture, and it is very difficult for you to digest that people are lacking even shelter, people are like lacking water. We get bored only traveling to refrigerator. We keep bottles around our bed all the time. But yes, people need to travel more than 30 minutes just to see or fetch water. This is still a problem in rural areas of India, and this is where poverty prevails. People cannot afford the food for 2 times. People cannot afford a shelter. People sleep on roads. People do not sleep on roads. They stay awake on roads. People do everything on roads. They lack sanitation facilities. They are using public toilets actually. And also in our basic needs, one need is education. People not able to get education are also considered to be absolutely poor. People lacking all of these facilities are termed to be absolutely poor. They are lacking the basic necessities of life, or they are lacking money to buy these basic necessities of life, and they are considered to be absolutely poor. What is meant by relative poverty then? Relative poverty is poverty compared to the standard of living of your society. If you cannot afford the standard of living like other citizens in your country, but you do have all the basic necessities of life, like you can afford food, shelter, education, everything, but your income is below the average income of the country and you cannot afford the standard of living equivalent to other citizens in your society, then you are said to be relatively poor. You would have heard the term people below poverty line or economically backward class. This is the class of people who is relatively poor. Technically speaking, relative poverty is a condition in which people lack the minimum amount of income needed in order to maintain the average standard of living in the society which they live. Wherever I am living, the minimum standard of living is not maintained by me, then I am said to be relatively poor. Here, your income is less than the average income of all the citizens of your country. Then you are said to be relatively poor. Okay, compared to Ambani's, we too are poor, don't you think so? That is not relative poverty actually. We are able to afford our standard of living in our day to day life. So, relative poverty is when you are poor compared to other citizens of your society and you cannot maintain the standard of living equivalent to them. Moving forward, let us understand that what causes this poverty. Why there is so much poverty in India or in other countries too. Basically, we would be right now talking about India, that what are different causes due to which there is quite a widespread of poverty here. First and foremost, the reason for all economic problems, you might have guessed it, rapidly rising population. Population is a major problem, students. Every year, there is around 17 million people added to our population. Every year, the population growth is by 22%. Quite high, right? So, population is rising rapidly and there are too many people chasing too less consumer goods. That is why consumer goods would be priced high. People would not be able to afford these consumer goods and it leads to poverty, either absolute one or relative one. Population has been a problem since a long amount of time now. Government is taking some steps for awareness of people, but it's a long way to go. The second cause is low productivity in agriculture. Students, our economy, Indian economy is 70% dependent on agriculture. Many of the people are directly or indirectly related to agriculture or dependent on agriculture for filling their pockets or for their survival needs. But the productivity is decreasing day by day in agriculture due to problems in land, due to decreasing productivity in land, due to improper utilization of funds, due to too many chemicals being subjected to land, and due to many more reasons. The productivity in agriculture is decreasing day by day and this is leading to poverty in much sector of India. Also, less people are now interested in agriculture. Think about this, your forefathers might have been involved in agriculture, but all of you want a 9 to 5 job. All of you aspire much more than what farmers do in fields. Mind you, students, we to a great extent are dependent on those farmers. We can say that yes, they are uneducated. We can say that they are not as sophisticated as you and me. But they are much more important part of the economy than you and me. These farmers are the reason of our survival. So, try respecting them and if you can, participate in agriculture in whatever little way you can. Moving further, the third problem is underutilized resources. We were once a land of abundant natural resources. Golden sparrow is what we were considered because our land was such productive. We do have resources even today, but these resources are not put to the maximum use or to the proper use, which again leads to poverty. We have the resources, but we lack the enthusiasm or we lack the knowledge for the proper use of these resources. People need to make sure that all the resources go to the best of their use. Moving forward, the next problem is, of course, inflation. Too much money chasing too less goods will lead to inflation. In inflation, it is a common scenario that rich will keep on getting richer and poor will keep on getting poorer due to inflation. And due to inflation, people will not be able to afford the basic necessities of life. I can remember the dialogue from Three Idiots here that in some days paneer would also be sold in a jeweller's shop. Everything is getting priced too high, not to mention the petrol prices here. We know that inflation is rising slowly and steadily, but to a very high amount. There is a possibility that many of us will be able to survive this inflation, but many of us will not be able to. This inflation will lead to higher and higher poverty. One more reason would be, of course, unemployment. If your pockets are not filled, then obviously you would not be able to purchase consumer goods. Unemployment is also a problem in our country. It is also an economic problem which is to be talked about and which is to be solved. There are a lot of people who are looking for jobs and are not able to get one. Moreover, we have shortage of capital and able entrepreneurship. Remember the word able. We do have entrepreneurs, we do have startups, but these startups do not last long. Lack of money, we are a country with problem of capital. We are a country with problem of machineries, goods. We are a country where we need to import most of the things because other countries produce it cheaper than us. We have lack of capital and entrepreneurs who can make things happen. Entrepreneurs are the most active members in production process, and that is why lack of able entrepreneurs would give a standstill to production and services. And if we do not get very good entrepreneurs, then there would be no people to give jobs to others. So it would lead to higher unemployment. We need more businessmen, more capital to eradicate poverty. Our next problem is some of the social factors. Many social factors also play a very radical role in increasing this poverty. Let us see each of these social factors in details. The first social factor is lack of education. Students, there is lack of education due to certain social stigmas. Do not educate a girl child. She has to take care of her home. Thanks to the society and thanks to my parents who didn't think so. Because of them, I am standing here even after being a girl child. There are some stigmas related to education. Do not educate a girl child. Why spend so much money? At the end, she has to take care of the home. Thanks to people who didn't hear that, and owing to them, many girls are today astronauts, doctors, nurses, teachers, and excelling in each and every field. But sadly, this is not the case with each and everyone. Rural areas and many people in urban areas too are of the mentality that education is of no need. In our caste, we do not at all educate children. They will do business. Lack of education will lead to lack of jobs. Even if they are doing businesses, there would be a problem where they will not become an able entrepreneur. Education at any point of time will only help, and basic education is a necessity. Some social factors is getting this down. They are giving importance to all other things in the society more than education, and that is why it is a problem and it is leading to poverty. Another problem is caste system. Students, many people even today, at least in rural areas, consider that people belonging to certain caste are designated to do certain works only. This is the topic which gets on my nerves, so I'll not give you examples at all, but I very sadly need to inform you that such people do exist who still make sure that whoever is working with them or working for them, all their workers belong to a certain caste only. People being judged upon something which is not something they have earned, which is not something they have developed, but which is something they are born with. Isn't it ridiculous? Yes, it is. Caste system is also bringing down the economy, and people belonging to certain caste are not able to progress due to these social stigmas. The third problem is joint family systems. In India, joint family systems are more prevalent compared to Western countries, Western cultures as well. These joint family systems are better option to reduce financial burden, but many people misuse this system where they choose not to earn. So, we have a scenario here where 10 people are living in a home and only one person is feeding each one of them. Obviously, it will lead to poverty, won't it? How much can a single person earn? Joint family system is also a problem up to some extent in keeping the people poor. Last but not the least, we have the social customs here. We still have people paying for dowry by taking loans, giving hefty amount of gold in their daughter's wedding. When they do not have anything left, people splurge here in some social customs. Might it be weddings or might it be deaths. They actually spend a lot of amount of money on a person's death. If you have money, I do not have any problem here, but do not indulge in debt for just making sure that the society doesn't mock you. Society mocks everyone. Everyone, trust me, whether it be me or whether it be you. Anything you do will never be sufficient. It would be better if you do just enough. Lastly, of course, how can I forget some of the political factors? Not only in India, but many political factors throughout the world bring down the economy of the country. We will talk about the political factors which are creating a problem in Indian economy. The first problem is prejudice and injustice. On one side, I hate the caste system where people are not given equal opportunities because they belong to particular caste. On the other side, I also hate the inequality or prejudice system where people are not given an equal opportunity or people are not given reservations because they do not belong to a particular caste. Both the sides of a coin are equally responsible for creating poverty. On one side, People belonging to certain castes are not given opportunity and they will remain poor. On the other side, people belonging to certain other castes are not given opportunity and they would remain poor. Basically, nothing should be decided just based upon what caste you belong to. Try finding skills instead. Moving forward, the other political problem is, of course, corruption. That money which can be utilized for betterment of people and giving out employment options to people is used in filling pockets of political leaders. They are making progress, but is our country making progress? Is poverty getting eradicated? These are some questions which they need to answer before filling their pockets. Lastly, everyone, in spite of knowing everything, is unable to do anything. Who am I or how can I change the system? Because there is centralization of power. Decision power is left with certain few in the political system. Though we do not have autocracy, we live in democracy, but is it really a democracy? Or are we choosing to appreciate what we think in our minds that it is democracy? This remains a question. Problem also is centralization of power, because you and me or many other educated leaders who know many things but are unable to do anything or unable to change the situation because they lack the power to change the situation. Centralization of power is yet another problem and it leads to poverty. These were the causes of poverty. Let us see some of the measures about how we can reduce poverty. How we can make sure that people do not lack the basic necessities of life. The first and foremost thing which you can do is provide employment opportunities. As I told you, government and private sectors both must make sure that appropriate employment opportunities are given so that more people can earn and less people get poor. Moreover, establishment of small scale industries would also help in eradicating poverty. These small scale industries would be more focusing on skillful workers. So, also the private sector and government sector should make sure that more and more small scale industries are given opportunities for doing work like craftsmanship, like small startups, etc. Establishing these small scale industries would again provide employment opportunities and eradicate poverty. Of course, more people should be educated. Without education, yes, you might develop skills, but those skills can be used appropriately only with education. If more people are educated, there will be more employment and there will be less poverty. Make sure that everyone around you is educated. Do your bit. Try and pay for at least 2 persons' education throughout your life. This is the homework for today for every one of you. Whenever you earn in your life, try to educate at least 2 children. I too will do so, I promise. Okay. Reduce inflation. Instead of participating in inflation, try to reduce inflation. Government will do its bit, but we too need to do our bit as businessmen and as society. We need to make sure that inflation doesn't go beyond certain range. The ball is more in court of governments though, but still do your bit. Check population growth, please. Moreover, make proper utilization of resources. Make proper utilization of resources, find a proper utilization of resources and use more of renewable energy resources. Moving forward, try uplifting agriculture. If you are an educated person and if you do not want to directly participate in farming, at least participate in research and development for agriculture. Try upliftment of agriculture in our country, because as I told you, 70% of our population is dependent on agriculture. It's too high, right? Try uplifting agriculture, because we are good at agriculture and our lands are good for agriculture. So it would be highly beneficial in eradicating poverty. That's it from my side, students. Ending on that note, thank you so much for such patiently listening to me. This is Dhruvi Bhatt signing off. Until next time. Bye-bye.